All right, what is up, everyone? Welcome back. Special edition of the Moto Aftermath Show here, a little midweek show. And we have a very special guest with us, and this very special guest is brought to you by our newest sponsor of the show. So Alias Sport is coming on board with us here. AliasSport.com. They make Alias Pain Balm and the Alias Chill Oil. So it is CBD, non-THC stuff. It is... honestly, I haven't tried it yet. They're sending it to me, so I'm going to try it and see. I have some aches and pains. As you know, I'm no spring chicken anymore, so I'm going to try some of this pain balm and see how that helps me out here when we get here. But the main reason they're coming on board here is to help out some of the privateer heroes that we all know and love. As you guys know, we are big proponents of the privateers here for the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Series and the Monster Energy AMA Supercross Series. So on the phone with me, I have privateer hero, pro racing legend, the one, the only, Kyle Chisholm. What's up, Kyle? How we doing today, man?
I'm doing good. Just on the way home from riding, did some practicing, a little tired. The heat in Florida is no joke this time of year, so a little tired, but that's part of it and part of the process. But no, enjoying it, and I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. So how bad did it rain today? Because I know Florida's notorious for mid-afternoon showers here, and we're mid-afternoon, so.
It hasn't rained yet today, at least by me, but that's the thing, is it could rain, on the other side of the street, not on this side of the street. So that's how it goes. There's literally rain in my front yard, not my backyard anymore. My house, and I'm in a neighborhood, awesome. Not on acres.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's Florida. So, no, it rained a bunch yesterday evening. It'll rain pretty much any time between, early afternoon through the night. Just kind of hit or miss. And I rode over to the Stewart's house today, and they got some rain last night. So we had a little bit of a late start today, just trying to get the track,
oh my God,
good for us to ride. So the track was actually turned out good, but a little bit wet to start. Turned out pretty good, though.
The Stew compound, bro. Do you know how many people their jaw just hit the floor that you've been riding at the Stewart's place? Holy shit, man. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. I've grown up. My dad and Big James grew up riding together. Just kind of friends, and me and Little James grew up riding together, before they ever had a track. So I was actually thinking about today, I probably rode more laps there than anybody, because obviously I've raced a little bit longer than James, and obviously I've been riding longer than when Malcolm even started riding, whatever. So I was, it's actually funny. I've probably ridden there more than Malcolm or James has, at this point in my career. So, I grew up riding together before they ever had a track, and pretty much ridden there since they ever had a track, whatever. So it's awesome. Good people, awesome family. Malcolm's like a little brother to me. And I don't want to say I take it for granted by any means, but definitely blessed to be able to go there and call them friends and be able to ride there with them. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
When was our last Stu sighting there? When was the last time we actually saw Stu there? Not even on a bike, just there.
During Supercross time, towards the end of Supercross, probably the last time I've seen him, I saw him out there. So, yeah.
Well, now it's too hot for him. He's like, dude, fuck this. I've spent a lot of summers out here. I'm done. So
I don't blame him. I don't blame him for sure. Sometimes I'm like, what am I doing out here right now?
Oh yeah.
But it's good. It's fun. I enjoy it. And it's not doing all the outdoors, obviously, just doing a couple. And so for me, kind of just riding a little bit here and there over the summer. And, I'm like, why not go do a couple races if I'm riding anyway? So not like any serious, hardcore, week-to-week training, grind like all these other guys are doing right now. But for me, I'm like, kind of ride, a day or two a week and have some fun. And like I said, sometimes I'm like, why am I out here? This is not fun. It's too hot. But I'm like, I'm going to race this weekend, which obviously we'll get into. But so I'm like, I got to suffer a little bit here this week and get ready for the weekend. So, part of it.
Yeah, but you say not anything serious, but you're not serious. You're still in the top 20. Like, that veteran savvy that you have is absolutely impressive. I got to say, you're like my number one pick for Pulp MX Fantasy for Supercross. Like, if there was every time I could pick you, I was like, yep, Chiz is on. Like, there was no doubting it. Because, like, even on your worst night, I'm like, he's still going to get me okay points, as opposed to like some of these other dudes that for lack of a better term, are super serious until it gets to that, 20-minute main event in supercross, and then they can't go, 20 minutes plus a lap and without dying.
Yeah.
So, so you're not serious is still better than some guys, or a lot of guys serious, which is a sad state of affairs. So,
I would say, like, at least for outdoors right now, they don't have any plan or budget or for doing all of them. But obviously, I like racing. I'm a racer at heart, and I enjoy it. So I'm like, I'm sitting at home. That's how I always go. I'm like, I'm bored. Which race should I go do? Which one do I want to go do? Let's do it. So, I'll put in some work to go do it. But it's different, when I'm, doing outdoors, for example, I'm riding outdoors back in April, even during Supercross towards the end. I'm just starting outdoor motos, starting some testing, getting ready, before Supercross is even over. Where this year, it's like, got through Supercross, probably took a month off, didn't ride at all, rode a little bit here and there. I'm like, I'll go race Southwick. So I rode for a week or two before, went and raced. I think I rode like 6 times before that. And then this time, I took like another couple of weeks off after Southwick. And just the last probably 2 or 3 weeks, I've just, rode a couple days a week. I'm like, let's go do buds. So, like I said, I'm not serious. When I'm out there, I'm serious. When I'm racing, I'm serious. But it's just not the full, I'm not.
No, you're not grinding. Committed. You're not testing.
Yeah, committed is not the right word. Because I'm committed, but it's not like all 12 outdoors. I'm grinding all summer long, going to, do it. I want to go do good. I want to have fun, whatever. But it's more just because I want to be out there and have some fun. So, for the outdoors at least.
Oh yeah.
So Supercross is definitely a little more preparation and whatever, put a little more into it. But outdoors, like I said, I had no plans to do any of them. I just know me, and I end up sitting around watching the races every week because I'm a fan, just as much as I'm a racer. And I'm like, gosh, I want to go out there and I want to go race. So which one am I doing? So that's kind of how the outdoors has gone through the last couple of years. So getting a little older, and Supercross is the main focus, and outdoors is just kind of for fun. So
now, do you have, with saying that and talking about how you've rode more laps at Stewart's compound and everything, is the end in sight for you for Supercross? Do you think you're going to go, another 3, 4, 5 years here, like with just doing Supercross and maybe touching an outdoor here and there? What's your thought process on all of that?
To be honest, I don't really know. Like, I've gotten that question asked a lot the last, few years, really. And because, I'm not super young anymore. I'm not old in normal life, terms, but for our sport, I am. And I've been doing it a long time, at this level. So I'm blessed to have been able to, and to be in the position I am, and how long I've been able to race competitively at this level. And, I don't really know. I kind of, at this point in my career, I kind of go year to year. And the kind of things I look at is, do I want to do it? Like, do I enjoy it? Do I want to be out there doing it? That's the first thing. And then for me, the second thing is, not in any order, but I'd say the first thing for sure is, do I want to do it? And I do. I like the work. I like training. I like riding. I like competing. So that's the first thing is I still enjoy that part of it. So I want to be there. The other two things that I look at is, okay, well, can I make a living doing it still? Like, where I want to be. As much as I love it, at some point, you have to, it's my job. So it's got to make sense. So I'm like, as much as I love it, but does it make sense, the risk and just everything doing it. So I'm like, does it make sense financially? So that's another thing. And then the other thing is, to recap, is, do I want to do it? Does it make sense, financially to do it? And then also, like, am I competitive? Am I happy with where I line up with people? So even if I love doing it, but I just don't have it anymore, then it's like, it'd be easier to walk away. So like I said, the three things for me are, do I love it? Do I still want to do it? Can I make a living? Does it make sense financially? And am I competitive where I want to be? And sure, I'm not as good. I don't finish as good as I did at the best part of my career. But, when I'm making the main event every weekend in Supercross and, top 15, 20, whatever, up there, paddling with guys on factory bikes, I'm like, well, I'm satisfied with that. You obviously always want to do better. But, that's respectable. I'm happy with that. I work hard to be there. It's not easy by any means. That's when I say the serious thing, it's it's hard because we're like, oh, he just got it. It's easy. But it's not. It's a lot of work. And I get older every year and more guys come in every year. So it's a lot of work to do, to go out there and chiz every weekend like people probably think. But I enjoy it. Like I said, I enjoy the challenge. So I enjoy it. So as long as to answer the question, I don't really know. I kind of take it year to year. It's okay, let's evaluate, do I still want to do this? And okay, what sponsors do I have? What kind of program can I have? Does it make sense? And kind of just go from there. So I would like to race longer, but it really just depends on those things. So while I'm out there and just kind of cross that bridge as I get to it, around this time of year, every year start working on stuff for next year and see what I can put together and kind of go from there. So yeah, I would like to race longer, whatever. So as long as it makes sense and all that, we'll keep doing it.
Sweet. So speaking of like sponsors and program, what's your program for like getting to the races? Are you van lifing it with your dad? Are you van lifing it by yourself? Like what's the deal? Are you putting your bike on a truck with somebody? How's this working for you?
So for Supercross, I had they actually have a deal, not really a deal, but they support a part of the Ronald McDonald House Charities, which is McDonald's, and that family. They actually used to drive the Rock River cycle trader truck for a few years, and he's got his own semi. His kids race at the amateur level, and they have that affiliation with the Ronald McDonald charity. So they wanted to kind of build and kind of put their own little thing together, and so I kind of partnered with them this year for Supercross. So they took my bike, that's who I pitted with, and all that kind of stuff. But other than that, I was, kind of on my own bike deals, and everything else was on me other than my bike getting to the races. But they were awesome, huge help for me. And we've kind of wanted to build it into something more potentially. So kind of working on that for Supercross. For outdoors, I'm really kind of just on my own. So for Budds Creek and Ironman, just a friend of ours another kid that races, Aaron Lininger, he's just driving up. He's a privateer going up in his van. So he's going to throw my bike in there with him and get my bike up there. So, and then I'm going to pit with Bill Dill from 3D Racing.
Okay.
He has a nice little rig that I can pit out of. So really, honestly, outdoors, that's why I said it's not as serious. I don't really have a program. Kind of just, hey, I'm going to race this race. Let's go do it. And what can I put together? Go have some fun and do it. But that's how Supercross went. And then for outdoors, it's kind of just, Southwick, I drove up. I rented the van and I drove myself up there. For these ones, I have somebody taking the bike, like I said, so I'll be able to fly, which is much easier on me. It's kind of just go with the flow for outdoors. Like I said, no plans to do any of them. So just to do a couple, just kind of throw something together and go have some fun. Oh, yeah. Is the kind of the main focus. Yeah.
Sweet. So nothing solid then yet for 22 here for Supercross that you've put together, or?
Nothing's like 100% at the moment. Just obviously Yamaha kind of stepped on board and helped me a little bit more directly this year than 2020. And they were happy with everything. So I'm looking to continue that. Nothing's 100%, but looking to build on that. And then as far as the program with the truck and everything that, like I said, that I was with, we're just wanting to build on the program. And the biggest thing is just getting funding, trying to get some good sponsors on board and make it a program where we can maybe get another rider or two, something like that, and support like an actual team, whatever. So that's what we'd like to do. It's just tough, obviously, especially with the world the way it is right now. Just trying to get that funding and get a good sponsor on board and kind of really do it right, whatever. That's what I would really like to do. So working on that, but nothing 100%. And just working on it. So we'll kind of see what kind of comes together between now and Supercross.
Okay. Now in Supercross this year, you had a pretty big get off, wasn't it? It was one of the Atlantas, but sorry, I don't remember which one it was.
The second one.
You went for a ride through the grass, right?
Yeah. Got a little whiskey in the whoops.
Okay.
And I actually saved it from being bad in the whoops, but my foot slipped off, and I saved it. But when my foot slipped off, I kind of whiskeyed and kind of slid. It caught, and I whiskey throttled into the grass, and had a pretty good one. It was a lot better than it started, if you got to see the whole crash. It's just kind of unfortunate. When I went in the grass, there's a little patch of concrete. Obviously, it's a car race track, and I land like a foot. I missed the grass by about a foot. Just drove my shoulder into the concrete and separated my shoulder. and that was a bummer. So I missed that one, obviously, those two Atlantas and the first Salt Lake, but I was able to come back for that last Salt Lake and kind of just get through it. I wasn't 100% by any means, but I was happy to get out there, be in the main, and battle, about top 15 was good. So had that little crash, which was a bummer, but like I said, it could have been a lot worse. Unfortunate with the concrete kind of being right there, but overall it could have been worse. And it's part of it. We do 17 races like that. It's going to happen. So I was fortunate to have a pretty healthy year, really the last 2 years. So, but it happens. We're riding dirt bikes.
Oh, yeah. Now, what did you think of those Atlanta rounds? Because I've heard several mixed reviews from several different riders and people about, the track was too big, the track was dangerous, all this kind of stuff like that. What did you think about it?
I actually really liked it. I enjoyed it. I did think it was too big. I think they could have condensed it a little bit because it got pretty fast. And when you're doing supercross obstacles going that fast, it can be a little sketchy. So I felt like they could have, and obviously for the fans and the TV people, I think if they just shortened it a little bit as far as the footprint, they could have condensed it a little bit more. And I think it would have been great racing still, maybe better, and would have been better viewing, better TV, or easier TV, whatever you want to call it. I think that could be done. But honestly, I liked it. I'm glad that we're going back to that style of race. I thought it was really, it was cool. It was fun and different. I like that. It wasn't like Daytona. It was, but it wasn't like the outdoor feel of Daytona. Outdoor meaning like motocross. Daytona's got that motocross mix where Atlanta didn't really have that for the most part. So I thought it was cool. It was a bigger track, open more, and stuff like that. So I was pumped to go back there. I think they could make a few tweaks and it'd be really good.
Okay. Now, did you like the residencies with the Supercross? Because I'm not gonna lie, when the schedule came out, I thought for sure we were gonna have at least a couple of residencies. I thought we would have at least 20 rounds of Supercross because they were gonna throw some in the middle of the week. So to see just a normal schedule with no residencies, no midweek rounds, I was like, what the heck is going on? But what did you think of those? Because I was a fan.
I liked it. Just it was tough doing it so many times. I really wish they'd kind of mix the two, maybe kind of have that normal schedule, but then mixed with maybe a few residencies. Maybe you don't do them. Like last year it was 3 at Houston and then 3 at Indy and then what was it? Daytona,
Orlando for 2
and
weeks.
Then 2 in Orlando, 3 in Dallas. I don't, whatever.
Yeah.
So it was tough doing it that many times in a row, but it would have been nice to do maybe you go, I don't know, maybe you go San Diego and then you go 2 or 3 Anaheims and then you go to Dallas and then you do, Dallas, Minneapolis, and then maybe you go to 2 Indies and, I don't know, a mix would have been pretty cool if they could have done it somehow like that. But I get it and stuff. I think the downside for them is to do 3 like that. As far as their, butts in the seats, ticket sales, I don't think it's very great for them because if they have a race on Saturday and Wednesday and Saturday in that city, how many people are going to actually come to that many of them? Or if they do it in Dallas and then in Minneapolis and then in Atlanta, whatever, you know what I mean? You're going to get more people at those because you're moving from city to city. So I don't know. It's tough. But I feel like they could have mixed in maybe a couple of them. They're doing 3 Anaheims anyways.
Yeah.
Why not do them, like that? I think for TV, it's kind of cool because you get that midweek. Maybe, there's nothing else going on like there's on the weekend, and maybe more people can watch it on TV or online, whatever. So a little bit bummed to not see any of them, but it was tough doing that many of them that way too. So I feel like a balance would have been nice if they could have, came up with something to kind of give us some residencies, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, so we're about 4 hours from Indianapolis. So we did all 3 Indies last year. And it was awesome because, we sponsor a couple privateers and we're friends with a couple people. So it was nice. The first Saturday to Tuesday we stayed up there, and we got to like go to dinner, and we did go-karting and stuff with a couple of the guys.
Yeah.
So that was a good time. And then it was also cool too, because like I was walking through the mall one night going back to the hotel or whatever, and like, oh, there's Schmoda, oh, there's Mosman, like talking to these guys or whatever. Like it was cool to like see them out and like have a conversation with them, and nobody around, you know, like the craziness of a race day. You know, sometimes race days, it's like, we want to talk to you guys, but we also know you have a job to do, and it's serious for you guys, so it makes it difficult. So it was kind of nice doing that. I think I'm with you. They needed to do some. I think I wish I knew what the actual numbers were, because I think if you go somewhere like Indianapolis or say like even Minneapolis or something like that, like we're going to this year, if you do a residency there, I mean, it's the middle of winter, okay? There's nothing for us to do around here. Trust me, I'm from Michigan. It fucking snows. There's nothing here. You give me 3 supercross races, I'm going to all 3. No matter what. If it's within like 4 or 5 hours, I'm there.
And that's the other thing is like, they might not get as many people, but their cost is going to be less too, because they're not up and moving logistically that many people and all that stuff to another city and doing it all. You know, it'd be interesting to see all the numbers, obviously, but they might make a little less, but they also spend less too. So, you know, what is that profit margin that they kind of want to hit? But I don't know. I mean, like I said, that is, like you said, was the cool thing about it was, you know, typically like for me, you know, I'm flying in Friday. You know, I get there, maybe eat some lunch, go check in the hotel, go to the track, check it out, make sure my bike's good, do some more, you know, whatever I got going on, go chill at the hotel for an hour, go to dinner, go to sleep, and then you wake up, you're at the track all day Saturday racing, and then you fly home Sunday morning. So you don't really do anything. You don't go explore the city. You know, you're in and out, you're working. It's a work trip. It's not fun. It's fun, but it's not like you're not on vacation. Where the residency was like, you're on vacation. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It was, you know, like my wife and kids came to Dallas, and we ended up for a couple days stayed at I forget what it's called. Gosh, I can't think of the word now. It was, they have like an indoor water park and stuff like that. It's like a hotel. They have all this indoor stuff. I can't think of the word, think of the name of it now. But we stayed there. They flew in. Okay. They didn't stay the whole time, but they came. And we stayed there, went on like the water slides and all that stuff.
Cool. And
had some fun for a day, you know, a couple days while we were there. And that's not something that we would have gotten to do, you know, on a normal Dallas. I'm going to fly in, race, fly home. Yep. You know, where we stayed and hung out and played, and kids had fun, you know, and enjoyed it a little bit. So that's, I mean, it was enjoyable, but then it was tough being gone for basically a week, you know, at a time. Then you're not being able to practice during the week and work on stuff in between. So it was tough doing that many, but I wish they could have balanced a little bit of that, you know, a couple of them back in there. You know, it's maybe some cool places or something like that. But, you know, who knows? Maybe they'll do it again in the future, but we'll see.
Yeah. Now, what about Triple Crowns? Because I've heard that they're bringing those back, but we haven't seen anything yet. So, what did you think of those?
I'm honestly not the biggest fan of them, but it's not that big of a deal either. They do a few of them, you know, whatever. I don't really like the qualifying way they do it, you know, just off lap times as you're in the main event.
Yeah.
I'm honestly not the best qualifier, you know, just throwing out one fast lap. I'm more of a racer, and, you know, I'd rather race my way into it, you know, in a heat race or something like that. So I struggle with that. So that's part of why, you know, just everyone's biased. What I don't like about it. The flip side is if you do qualify good, you don't have to worry about going through a race to make the main event. You're in for all 3. Yep. You know, you're good. So there's that side of it for me. The other thing is I like just the longer race, not those quick, short sprint races.
Yeah.
It tends to play into my favor, again, just being biased. But like I said, I'm old enough and open-minded enough now to understand that it's different, exciting, and even for me, it's kind of cool because I also look at it like, well, I might not be speed-wise, I might be better off having one longer moto than trying to beat somebody on just raw speed in a short sprint, but they got to do that for 3 motos in a row, and I maybe can be more consistent. So, you know, just things that play in everybody's strengths and weaknesses. And like I said, it's a cool change. If they did them every weekend, I'd be like, not really a fan. I like the old way. But being that they just do a few, it's not a big deal. It's cool to do something different. And, yeah. Yeah,
so getting back to, I guess, the reason we're the reason we're really talking here, because let's face it, we had this connection made through a third party here for the two of us.
Yep.
Like I said, our friends over at Alias Sport, they have been they're kind of helping you. Well, kind of. They're really helping you, I guess, get to the races here this summer. They're doing these special days where if you go on their website, you buy something, either their paint balm or their chill oil, they're going to donate 100% of the profits to you, which again we think is awesome because, like I said, we are privateer supporters over here. We sponsor some privateers. We like to help you guys out as much as we possibly can. I'm sure at some point, now that we have a connection, we will we'll do something with you, hopefully at some point here, as long as you're still racing.
Yep.
And I have to say, I'm sad I missed the first go round of this for your Southwick run. I found out like literally that night that it was going on, and I was like, oh crap, okay, well maybe I should go do this at some point. And then I was like, oh, I guess it's only today. But they're doing it for Buds. They're doing it for Ironman. How did this whole deal come about for you?
So Mike Grondel, actually, the owner, he actually reached out to me. Back like just when outdoors started, and he's like, hey, why? And I know I'm actually kind of friends with Eric, his son.
Okay.
But I've never actually met Mike before that I remember. I haven't talked to him that much, but he reached out to me actually on Twitter. We kind of hooked up and talked on the phone and talked for a while and just about a bunch of stuff. And he's just like, why aren't you racing outdoors? I'm like, I still have the budget. I had budget for Supercross. That's what I focused on. I'd love to do a few outdoors. But, it's just, even then, it's just hard because it doesn't make sense. It's just, you don't make any money. It costs so much to do it. It's so hard on everything. It's a lot of work to be prepared to go do it, to go try to finish decent. It's just not worth it, unfortunately. I like it. It's not worth it. So he's like, well, man, what if we came up with something to help? Let's partner up. Let's do something. So we kind of came up with this idea. We did it before Southwick, and it actually worked really good. It helped me a ton. So we're like, hey, what other ones should we do? And we had already talked, but I'm like, Butts Creek is one that I really enjoy doing. And then Indiana as well. And so like, I got the opportunity as far as getting my bikes and stuff to both of those. I'm like, those are ones I want to do. And they're like, well, let's do it again. So huge thanks to those guys, Alias Sport, support them, even on not the days that they do stuff with me. Just awesome company, coming from a good place. I want to support the sport and guys like me. So yeah, it worked out awesome. So like this Friday, I don't remember the day. I think it's the 20th, I believe.
Yes.
Friday before Butts Creek and the Friday before Ironman next Friday, which would be, I think, the 27th, I think, something like that.
Yes, that is also correct.
Yep. So 20th and 27th, all the sales from those days will go to me to help, helping me get to those races. So it's tough, and I don't want to knock on like the outdoors because I know it's a business and just whatever, but just being real, I'm not coming from.
Oh, we're gonna get started. All right, here we go.
I'm not coming from a bad place. I like Davey Coons, whatever. So I don't want it to come off that way. But just being honest. So like just to give everybody an example, like for Southwick, my credential, like my pass, you have to buy it for the season, even though I'm only doing 1 or 2 races. To get my license was like I think $350, and then to sign up was like $300. So just right there, I'm, $650, to go. That's without getting myself there, my bike there, race fuel, just anything, right? So I won't even get into that, race fuel and flights and hotels and for renting a van and driving, my time, just all that, right? So forget about all that stuff, which still should be considered, but just like getting my credential and signing up to race, like I said, was $650. So I went like, I think 19 and 21. I crashed both motos. Should have been a little bit better. I should have been closer to about 15th.
Yep.
But still, I'm right there around 20th, whatever, in the points.
So you got $700.
I made $700 is what I made. So it cost me $650 just between signing up and getting my license to go there. And that's without me getting there, getting my bikes there, anything. So to further that, I rented a van. I drove up there. I got hotels, while I was there. Yeah, I spent probably close to $1,200 just in the van, the fuel, the hotels, and again, that's not even counting my time. It's not me paying me anything to drive up there 22 hours each way, and race, all that stuff. So That's not counting race fuel, $150 for the weekend for 5 gallons, whatever. So it's like, it's tough. So that's why I don't do outdoors. I like it, enjoy it, but it just doesn't make sense. And again, that's not a knock on MX Sports or AMA or anybody like that, but those are just the facts, and I don't know what their numbers are. Maybe they don't make a lot of money, whatever, and they can't pay us more money. But at the end of the day, like I said, I don't want to talk bad, but that's just the reality of what it was. So it's like, how I can't go do that. Again, that's not even counting like wear and tear on my bike. That's not counting like paying to ride during the week to train at these facilities, anything like that. None of my time. It doesn't make sense. So, when you guys see everybody racing, all the privateers, support them if you can. You know what I mean? It's not, we're not getting rich by any means. So for me, when I have guys like Alias Sport stepping up and some other people that want to help and just help me get out there, I really appreciate that because I want to be out there. But at the same time, I have a family. This is my job. How many people would be like, man, I love working at McDonald's. Don't bother paying me. I'll actually spend money to come work there this week. Nobody would do that. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's tough. And people say, oh, we'll just do better, get a better ride. But it's not easy. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Our sport is what it is at the moment. Could it be better? I'm sure. But will it? Who knows? Things would have to change. But it's just, it is what it is. And those are the realities. So like I said, when people like Alias step up and do things like this, that's why I'm out there. Because if it wasn't for them and people like that, I wouldn't be out there because I can't go spend $2,000 to make $700. Mm-hmm. And for the people that maybe don't know, they can say, well, get top 10 and you'll make more money. To be honest, I don't know the exact numbers. Maybe you do. If I went 10-10, which would be amazing, I'd be beating people that win races and podium. I probably would have made $900 instead of $700. It's not like I would have made $5,000 if I just did a little better. So to make $700 and spend, $2,000 to go there, you can't do that every week, whatever. So yeah, it's awesome. So support me if you guys can and want to. This Friday and next Friday, the 20th and 27th, I believe, before Bud's Creek and before Ironman. That's what's getting me up to those races, along with a few other people that I'll get some shout outs to, on my social media and stuff. But Alias really stepping up and doing this is awesome of them. Really thankful and appreciative. And I hope you guys support it. And I know you said you haven't been able to try their products. Yeah. I have actually. I actually used them for a couple months before Southwick even. Okay. Because as I talked to Mike and I wanted to make sure I liked them and everything like that. Yep. Before I endorse something or whatever you want to call it. And it's awesome stuff. I've used some other CBD stuff that was good in the past. And this stuff is even better, right there with it, even better. I have some really good popular stuff. So the pain balm's awesome. Really, that honestly helped my shoulder back during Supercross. So that's, I've been using this stuff since back then, even during Supercross. So that helped me a ton. The CBD oil is amazing. For me, the sleep is the biggest thing on that. I get such better sleep when I take the oil, before bed and stuff like that. So yeah, and it's for racers and people that ride dirt bikes, even not racers, riders, you can definitely benefit from the stuff, and it's really good price too. I know they had a good sale going on before Southwick. It wasn't even super expensive, and the benefits you get from it are awesome especially for that price. So yeah, check them out. Like I said, it supports me getting there those days. But like I said, support them all the time. They're a great company that's behind our sport and giving to our sport and helping guys like me. So just awesome to have them in my corner and supporting me. And really thankful for it. So show them some love. Help me out too. I appreciate it if you guys want. And, I'm pumped to be out there.
Yeah, we'll definitely link Alias Sport in the description here. Like Kyle said, this coming Friday, the 20th of August, and then the next Friday, the 27th, all the sales on the site go to him. I wish I would have got to try the stuff before I was putting it out there. My box is on the way, apparently, Mike told me this morning. Yeah. So I'm just waiting on it to show up. But so one more thing before we let you go, because I know I told you we'd keep this kind of short.
Okay.
Had another privateer hero on the show on Sunday, Mr. Scott Meshy, who says he knows you. And
I ride with Scott a little bit in Florida sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, he said he said, did he say that you whooped up on him at a Dade City race? Or something like that.
During Supercross,
yeah. So tell us about the legendary Dade City and how many laps you spun there, and how you just lay the wood to every single guy that comes there now.
Well, so before the race, we were at Supercross at Moto Sandbox, same place together, and so leading up, it was like on a Thursday, before Daytona, during the week they have it's always been the Pro Circuit Open, usually at Tampa MX, but they moved it to Dade City this year. But anyways, so we're riding Supercross. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna whoop you. I'm gonna show you up. Dade City's my track." And Scott, I think Scott's only 23 and I'm 33.
Yeah.
So I think I'm like 10 years older than him. And he was like, "Oh, that's my place. That's I'm gonna whoop you there." And I said to him, and again, I guess I'll start with, I really haven't rode there very much the last years. Just being a professional, I haven't ridden there that much. But I grew up riding there. Randy O, the owner, I used to ride there like 2-3 days a week. He would have like private nights just for me and a few other guys, aside from their public nights. After school, that's where I would be riding on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and the week Saturday mornings, Saturday nights. That's where I grew up racing. My first race ever, all was at Dade City. So anyways, I haven't ridden there a lot lately, whatever, the last years, but that's where I grew up, in our first race ever. So Scott's talking some smack during the week. I'm going to whoop you Thursday, whatever. It's a good money race. I think the winner makes like $3 or $4 grand, for Thursday. And so he's talking some smack, and I'm like, he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to whoop you. It's my track." And I was like, "Oh yeah, we'll see." And I'm like, he's like, "No, dude, that's where I grew up riding and stuff. That's my play or whatever. I've rode there so much. I got you." And I was like, "What year were you born?" I don't remember what I said. I think he said like 90. I think he said 97 or 98 or something like that. Because like I said, he's 10 years. I was born in 87.
Yeah.
He's 10 years older or younger than me. And so I said to him, I said, "Scott," I said, "I started riding when I was 5. And the first place I ever rode was Dade City." I said, "I've been riding at Dade City since before you were born. So don't tell me you're going to come whoop me because that's your track." I said, "I've been riding there since before you were born." Just laughing, just joking.
Yeah.
Whatever. So he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to whoop you," whatever. I'm like, "Dude, I've been riding there since before you were born." He's like, he literally like looked at me, didn't say anything, kind of like thought about it for a second. He's like, "Okay, yeah, I guess you're right." Whatever. So it was funny. But no, he's a good kid. We actually rode together last week before he went up to Unadilla. We rode Tuesday together at a private track down here, and did some motos together. And he's been doing really good. Doing a huge improvement from the last couple of years. He's young, whatever, and a hard worker, and going to school. Still I think full time and everything like that. So he's a good kid and fun to be around. And learning Supercross this year for the first time, and done outdoors I think the last couple of years. And he's a really good outdoor rider. So been up in the points, every weekend pretty much, close to some top 15s this past weekend. So, he's a good guy, good fun kid.
Well, he had nothing but high praise to say about you, man. So, he was a great kid. Actually, when we had him on, I told him, I was like, "Look, man, you need to do more podcasts because you speak very well." Like I interview some of you guys, man, and it's just like pulling teeth to get you to talk. But he spoke very well. I was like, you need to do more of these because you will get more help if you do. So
yeah. No, he's well spoken, like you said. He's a smart kid. He's going to school. He's in college, while he's racing and stuff. So
he's getting his master's, which is fucking wild.
Yeah. So he's a. Obviously it goes kind of hand in hand. He's not just grew up on a dirt bike, being homeschooled his whole life, and nothing against that, obviously. But an education's an education, whatever. So it's you can tell he's educated, whatever. So well spoken and all that. Yeah. So
all right, sure. Before we wrap this up, man, give a shout out where people can find you. Everyone else that's helping you out. We already said Alias Sport, and we'll say it again. Alias Sport, aliassport.com. There we go. So shout out everyone else that's helping you out. Tell people where they can find you, so that I keep driving people. I'm like, look, these privateers, they're all looking for help, whether it's $50 or $50,000. All you got to do is hit them up. If you can't get them to talk to you, hit me up. I'll try to make a connection. Now that I know some people, we can make some stuff happen here if you want to help out. So go for it, man. Give the shout out.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, first right now, Alias Sport for doing this for me and really helping me get out to race outdoors. Like I said, I'm just want to do them, but it's hard to make it make sense, like I said. So I want to be out there and they're making it possible for me, them along with some others. So yeah, huge shout out to Alias Sport. Like we said, this Friday and next Friday, hop on there. Everything, goes to supporting me. So huge thanks to them. I want to give a shout out to my family, my wife, my kids, my dad, my mom. They're a huge part. My dad mechanics for me every weekend, unless I have some extra help. But he's still, during the week, he's my practice bike guy, he's my race guy. He's not at the track with me during the week, but I'm actually headed there right now for him to help prep my practice bike to ride again Thursday. So my family just supporting me, being old, still doing this and having all their support is awesome. Yamaha, huge help to me this year. The bike's awesome. I know I was kind of talking about how I'm just on a stock bike, and I really am, aside from a few little things, put on there. And the bike's awesome. So huge thanks to them for stepping up and helping me. And then the RMHC, I know I mentioned them earlier. Mike, Christine, his wife, his kids, they helped me huge during Supercross, and we're looking to build on that program for next year. So looking to get some sponsors and kind of build on that program. Shout out to them. All my personal sponsors, man, I have a list in front of me right now, but everybody, go on my Instagram. I know that's the thing that just people getting a hold of me. Twitter and Instagram are kind of my two go-tos that I spend time on, and my names on both of them is just Kyle Chisholm 11. So my first and last name and just my number, 11. So find me on there. I try to talk about all my sponsors as much as possible, but LS2, FXR, CD, X Brand, EVS, Atlas Brace, tons of them, FMF, Recluse, Active Ride Suspension. There's a ton. I don't want to even name it. Ricky Fowler, my wife, helps me. Just a ton. Go on my Instagram, follow me, give me a follow if you don't, and you'll see everybody on there. Try to give them some love, and just shout out to all those guys for keep me racing, keep me out there, and help me to do it with the best stuff. That's the one good thing about doing my own program. And I've done this a long time. I know a lot of people, a lot of connections, fortunately, blessed to have all that. But with doing my own program, I'm able to kind of pick and choose, like, hey, like I might need to buy that, or I don't get that, or I could get this for free, but I'm going to choose to run this other thing instead. I really, honestly, everything I use on my bikes and in my program are because I want to. It's not just because, hey, these people pay me and give me this or that. I honestly, genuinely like all the products that I run. So, like I said, support all those. They support me. So thanks to all of them. And like I said, it's awesome to have support from that many people doing it as long as I have. And they're the ones that keep me out there. So shout out to them. And thanks for having me on the show too.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. I'll say it again. I've said it 1,000 times already on the show. Alias Sport putting us on here for this one, hooking us up with the Chiz. And yeah, man, good luck this weekend. We'll talk to you like I said before. I think Sunday we'll try to get you on the show here to kind of get a Budds Creek review, and we'll chat with you a little more on the main show, and then and then we'll see you in Ironman here in a couple weeks, man.
Yeah, perfect. That sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, bud. Talk soon.